welcome to the Buncombe County Board of Elections and all that are here. Thank you for our guests in the hall with us today. And do we have anybody online? If not, if anyone joins us, we'll be certain to acknowledge and let them know that we know they're here with us today in the meeting. I would like to take just a moment of privilege and wish everybody the most wonderful of holiday seasons, and enjoy your time, your family, the wonderful opportunity that you have to work with the Board of Elections and be happy. But most of all, how happy we are that you're with us. Amen. And that you're part of our team and that we all do this together. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful and appreciative, especially in this particular time of the year. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do. Greatly appreciate it. Approval of the agenda. The first item, so if I could have a motion.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
All right. All in favor of approving the agenda as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. So we have our agenda. I also have two sets of minutes. There's for November 13th and November 14th.
11th. The 11th, wasn't it? No, 13th and 14th?
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. So if you've had an opportunity to review those, are there any changes or corrections to the minutes as presented? If not, may I have a motion first for November 13th minutes?
I so move.
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right, those minutes are approved. I'll pass those around for signature. And then November 14th, likewise. Are there any changes or amendments to the minutes as submitted? All right, if I may have a motion to approve those minutes.
I so move.
Thank you, Courtney. Jake, thank you. All in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, if you can pass these for signature. The minutes are approved. And Gabriella, thank you. Our executive director.
Office updates. So before I launch into our office updates, I wanted to welcome our new absentee coordinator, Aaron Bell. Yes, Aaron comes to us from Georgia. He's been working in elections since 2021 at both the state and the county level. He has been a liaison like John Noce, and he has also been county staff, and he has experience in registration and training and absentee. Great fit for us. He's definitely taken charge already, showing lots of initiative, and we're very happy to have him on the team. So please welcome Aaron.
Aaron, welcome. Thank you.
Mhm.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Try not to be absent.
All right. Next on our update is that candidate filing is going well. That started on December 1st, and it will go through till December 19th at noon. And that's happening right next door here to us. So if you would like to check that out, if we somehow finish before 5 o'clock today, we could walk over there and look at that setup. We've had 31 candidates file so far, and you can see that updated list on our website. I also printed out a hard copy here for you all to look at.
Thank you.
Next, the early voting plan has been submitted to the state board. They requested that on December 3rd. We submitted on the 4th. Generally, unanimous plans like ours just get automatically approved. If it was non-unanimous, it would go through an additional review process, and a board meeting will be set for those where all of the county's plans that were non-unanimous would be reviewed.
Is that
Is that a new procedure? Or has that always been the case?
That's a standard.
Standard. Thank you.
Yeah. I remember 2018.
Next, we are conducting interviews for our recruiting and outreach position this week. So we have 6 candidates selected. We have interviewed 4 of those candidates. That process is going well. So I'll keep you updated on that. Marianne and Sally are in process of getting their state certification through the state board. I think Jake is giggling because the state board is in the midst of updating their system, and Marianne and Sally are test case for it. It does. And Marianne, you are free to elaborate, but it does seem to be
exam.
a good system.
And now I
Yeah.
can be a certified director.
They may have given her the wrong exam.
Remember.
No,
Oh, director.
director.
Oh,
Director
no.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
no, seriously?
She did well. She did well.
No, that's,
Well, I did
Take your
well,
reads.
but there's a number of questions in there on seams. Which I had to notify them that we don't have access to seams, so it was kind of a guess.
holy
Yes,
smoke.
But the test
Unbelievable.
includes some training modules, which I think have been helpful. And so once Sally and Marianne work out that system, I think that it'll be really useful.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get my password right so I can start the module. So it's just been about a week worth of back and forth. So
Training modules are actually intended for new board members, which it would have been very handy 3 years ago.
Right.
The modules were, and probably will be for Sally too, really kind of a review, because we've already done most of the things that are in there, but it would be very good for new board members.
Modules such as that should be available 24/7, 365 to everybody in the state. It should just be published on
Absolutely.
the state board website.
and it should be part of training, I would think, orientation for our new board members as well.
Yep.
I think that was the intent. It just never got there. It
happened.
hasn't been updated since 2021, and they're currently trying to update it.
Yeah, I think some positive, we're going to see some positive improvements in that
Good.
area.
Of course, I like that 2021 version. That was the one that certified me. So, but it worked great.
All right, 2 outreach events that I wanted to let you know we're doing. Well, we completed one. So we had a big outreach event at Deerfield. We had great attendance there, and Nagy led that one. So that was last week. They invited us there, kind of general elections information, and that one went really well. And then tomorrow, Amy and Karen will be going to the community high school in Swannanoa, and they'll take do voter registration and also bring the photo ID machine in case
Oh.
anyone qualifies for that. The community school and high school, it's the alternative
Oh, okay,
high
yeah.
school.
It's community school and high school?
High school.
Okay.
And then lastly, I wanted to let you know about kind of the after action meetings that we have after each election. And we kind of had 2 big things that came out of that. First is that we want to work on our protocol for the door access and the security. We know it's just more complicated here. And so we are working with IT in that area, and that's going really well. So we will work on that. And then the other thing is kind of some changes that we want for the operations. It actually went pretty well. So
Such
we'll
as
create
new-
a list.
Such as new, changes for Can you be a little more?
Yes,
specific?
yes, absolutely. And I will be creating a bullet point list, sending it to you, sending it to Brad, who I'll talk about next. Not Brad, Brandon, and Tim as well. So basically, we kind of went over how did things go here at 35 Woodfin, and so things that are on the list are making sure that the AV is complete before the next election in the boardroom. We really like the sound in here, so there's definitely some positives. We're operating on the second and this floor with our contract staff, which we're increasing, of course, for a bigger election. So kind of solidifying those plans and making sure that those areas are secure and as efficient as we can make them.
Did
So
you
I'll make
receive
sure.
any tracking on badge access to your spaces?
Yes, so we have tracking of all of the spaces, and then we increased our visibility. So I added access of all of our tech team so that they can monitor both access and changes in access as well. And then our, how do we log that, kind of our logging system too. So kind of overhauling that. It was pretty simple at 59 Woodfin because it was only elections, but we have to refine how we monitor here.
Is there a
And
way
we'll
to
get there.
real time the monitoring or no? Like, our IT folks wouldn't know if somebody's coming into the room right now? I mean, is there a way to real time that like we do?
I can ask.
Well, I mean, if they're supposed to be here, right, but
Well, no, they're not supposed to have access
to this at all.
Well,
So part of our developing,
Well,
we need to trust our partners, but having a good system of
Mhm.
monitoring is very important. So that is what we're working on. So setting a protocol of, who did I authorize in
Right.
rooms when, making sure that that's documented. Any, alterations from that need an explanation. We log them.
I do
that
have a
kind of
question to Jake's point, though, like, there are certain areas of elections that IT should not have access to.
Correct.
And I'm assuming that we're making sure that's, I mean, there's just certain places
Mhm.
very, very few should be able to go.
Yes, and the IT director is very on board with that. Have already had
It
discussions with
puts
that.
them at a
Mhm.
level of risk that
Yes.
I don't think they want.
So we just need to come to clarity, make sure that we're clearly communicating that and documenting everything.
The whole thing is intended to address risk management. And so the important thing is when you take those steps, you make sure that you're not introducing new risks. And it's those support organizations, such as IT, who generally have broad access, that you really have to watch the most carefully.
that's true.
So some standard procedures need to be revisited and tweaked. So that's what it is.
Yeah, and it was very great that we pushed to operate here during the municipal election. I think that really helped us figure out, okay, what do we need to refine? It would be much harder to be trying to do all of this in January. So gold star for us. And then I also wanted to update you. I have heard from Brandon Freeman, our attorney. It's kind of two things I wanted to give update on. One is that we are up to $2,588 on invoicing from their firm. And last night I received a draft MOU, so I'll review that. Once I review it and I feel comfortable with it, I'll share that with Glenda, and then we will circulate it to the board to get feedback on that and get that done.
Can you give me that amount again, please?
2,588.
And one more time on the line item, what did we have secured for how much we were going to be able on this budget the current budget to use?
5,000.
Thank you.
Another invoice?
We have not received another invoice that I'm aware of.
18. The last one was 18.
Oh, I'm sorry. There were 2 invoices. Yes, the 2, and I do have the 2 invoices if you would like that somewhere.
Did this all come at the same time?
The invoices, no, they came separately. Here it is. 1840
40 was the first one. I
Mhm.
hadn't seen the second one.
and 747.50. I rounded up.
Well, we need to
50
have a
cents.
copy of those to look at because we have how many days to review them? According to a certain amount of time that we can review those,
I'm sorry, review what?
the invoices. That was in our agreement,
Oh, you
Mhm.
mean before we submit payment?
right?
For
But there's
reimbursement?
only a certain amount of time we have to review them.
Glenda has reviewed them. Are you requesting
I have
that?
The original of the big
Mhm.
one, if you guys want to.
I'm going to make a request that all the board members be sent these invoices when they do come in. Is
I'm
that,
happy to do
yeah,
that.
good. Just shoot it to us in an email. That would extremely help.
And I do have these here. Is it going around?
I was showing them the original big one and then this is the. other
Yeah,
one.
he has done a good
Okay.
job of
Just a second.
putting out the line items so you can see exactly what he's been working on. And those are all of my updates.
And I just have one additional piece of information to share. Our liaison to the state auditor, Dallas Woodhouse, will be here on Friday conducting a board chair meeting for the region or the district. There will be 11 or 12 board chairs here. The meeting is from 2:30 to 5. Hoped it would end sooner than that, but that's what's slotted and they will be meeting here. So I told you all that I would keep you posted on what was going on and, but that will be here because I guess we're the most central, maybe the largest county in the region or district for the West. So they'll be coming here to get their chairs that have signed up. There were several meetings across the state and the board chairs could choose which meeting spot was most convenient. So
Did we decide that that was going to be open to the
it's not
public?
open.
Yeah, I don't
it's for
think it
board
is.
chairs.
Only board chairs.
Yes,
Okay, and that's on what day?
Friday.
Okay, so we'll be able to hear at our next meeting what went down.
Correct.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can I ask a question here? Is this from you and I met with him? Because he's got board chair Jay Quinn on there.
How many counties will be here for this meeting? How many county board chairs, Glenda?
The last count that they had, that they shared with me was between 11 and 12.
Okay, that's mostly Western North
Yes,
Carolina.
ma'am. They had asked for a room to accommodate up to 15. I don't think we have 15 at this point. And then Corinne will be offering an update as the executive director of our Board of Elections and
Yeah.
some do's and don'ts and things that work well for us and how we operate.
And
So
what is the subject matter exactly?
it's training for board chairs
Okay,
by the Board of Election liaison.
okay.
I have no agenda and I have no
Yeah.
update, have no information other than that to share, Courtney, and I apologize. I'm not trying to be evasive by any means. I
Oh,
just-
no, didn't expect that. I
I just
just was
didn't-
wondering what the
Yeah, I don't-
subject matter was.
Thank
I'm sort of disappointed that they don't include all the board.
Well,
Oh.
I think
It's just
maybe
more information.
future wise they will. I don't know what the initial, I don't know until I go. But my suggestion will be, especially if it's training, that maybe they should also extend it to all board members.
Well, there's probably a good reason that they didn't invite all the boards. They just want to get you liaison situation set up so that everything moves smoothly with the state board, which I understand.
So I just, again, I promised I would share and just wanted to keep you all updated so that you would
Well,
know.
make notes and let us know anything we need to know.
I surely will. I
Okay.
think there must have been a meeting.
Oh.
Building. Maybe pre-task force. I'm trying to think if we had something.
Yeah.
Did you have a meeting with the,
Was there
Attorney?
anything I was supposed to ask?
that's on that billing, that's what.
Oh, no, that was a conference call that we had. I was on it with Glenda
Okay, so, and
a
that,
while back.
well, there's one here for, I'm trying to figure out where the bill was when you and I met with him.
Yeah, because I had not seen, this bill came after the large bill, correct, Corinne? So I had not seen this bill. That one I had.
So Corinne, can we get some clarification here, please? So if Jake had a phone call with Linda and him, that's fine, but where is the one where we all together?
That was a closed session.
Facilities work.
It was on the other billing.
It was on the other building?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that again then, because it's here as well.
We only had one closed session.
Right. And,
This is not closed session.
That's when we met in Corinne's office.
right,
as the
but what
task-
about the other one that's on there? We'll just need to check.
When Courtney passes
Mhm.
that back, I'll double check the dates on it.
Could I have a copy of this? Just, yeah, have you already sent it? Gabrielle's faster than lightning. I bet she has.
You want to?
Yeah, and by sending these out as Courtney suggested, you know, you can review before.
Yeah, there were, when Corinne and I meet, we had just gotten that one, and I had not seen this one, so.
This is a closed session, I guess, on the 21st.
So we're looking at the same one,
There's only
1840.
one.
There's only one.
Yeah.
You'll see references, to discussions about the closed session.
Right.
During these two other.
Just those two.
These the same,
This is
this the same invoice? What,
This is just one. Yep.
is this a duplicate?
No, wait
Is
a
what I'm
minute.
asking.
No, wait a minute. No, see, what this is a carry forward.
Got it.
This is the original.
Original, and then it's the second one.
There's this much billing on the second one.
All right, thank you.
Confusing way to do it, but
Let me give you back this original one, Gabrielle, or I've got you. This is the one I didn't.
Whoa. Polling location changes.
All right, is that Nagy? Voting location changes? Ryan?
Jake, did we keep this or is this
Yeah, this was,
just pass
she's
it,
gonna email them to us.
pass
I
it
think.
back? And if you need to.
Sure can. Filing list.
10 days of filing left. I was surprised to see only one person has filed to run for mayor of Asheville.
All right. Don't spit up your food. Stay on
Sally.
Over to the city of Asheville. Sorry, Ryan, we're digressing over here. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Well, good to see y'all again tonight. I have 7 new voting locations I'm going to go over with y'all. And then we're going to go over our out of precinct voting locations. We have 16 of them. And every year before a primary and an election, we need to go through and reevaluate them. So at the end of this, I'll have a map that shows where all the out of precinct voting locations are. Okay, but the first one we're going to go over is 4.1. We normally had voting there at the North Asheville Community Center, but after Helene, and a lot of these new locations we're going to go over tonight are Helene related, but after Helene, Parks and Rec, they needed that facility to house some of their maintenance equipment. So we had to find a new facility. And I did look all over precinct 4.1. It's a very small geographical precinct. Didn't really find a suitable building there. But I did go down to Claxton Elementary. They have agreed to be a site. It's about 1 mile south of the precinct. And it looks like that's the best site I could find. They're going to let us use their gym, and they have adequate parking in the front. So I would like to recommend that site for 4.1. Yes,
Ryan,
sir,
one
Jake.
question. Will school be open on March 3rd?
No,
Okay,
the school will not be open on March 3rd.
that's important because the traffic at Claxton Elementary School is a nightmare.
Mhm.
It is.
The turnoff of Merriman into what is essentially a one-lane road is a real problem. So if there was school, I would not be in favor
yeah.
of that. So I'm
Just could
glad
be
there's no
just for the
school.
one precinct,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, just one precinct. Yeah.
combined precinct.
Precinct 3.1 votes at St. Mark's Lutheran on
Mhm.
Chestnut.
Yep.
But I am very concerned about the city of Asheville. The city of Asheville had no business taking this away from us. And are there others where they are using it for something and they're denying us use of a public facility?
No, that's the only one.
This is the only one. Okay, I really hope that the county addresses this with the city. In my estimation, this is unacceptable. Helene occurred over 14 months ago, and they can move their maintenance equipment any number of places, including rather large parking lots immediately adjacent to the North Asheville Community Center. This just boils my blood. And I don't want the city of Asheville thinking that they have the authority to do this going forward. They have no business taking this away from us. And, I've spoken with someone who has been a precinct chair in 4.1 for over 20 years. And this has never happened before. We've been reliably able to use that facility. And this kind of surprise, I'm sorry, but I find it just totally unacceptable. And I hope that the county addresses the city on this matter. I'm hoping with the new city manager, we have better collaboration between city and county. I see that as a real possibility. But in the meantime, this stinks.
Well, this board could actually have some input with the city too.
I agree.
There's no reason why we shouldn't, if everyone agrees to do it.
Believe me, they don't want to hear from me. So all the rest of y'all, you lobby them gently. But under the circumstances, I think it puts more of a spotlight on the fact that the North Asheville Community Center is a community center in name only. In fact, the community does not have access to that. Parks and Rec clearly has other priorities. And I know I've mentioned this to some of y'all, but I am going to make it my priority going forward to encourage the city of Asheville to acquire space in North Asheville to develop a community center for the community. And those of you in the audience who are maybe wondering what I'm thinking, I see that empty Steinmart across the street from Ingalls. That is property that is begging to be redeveloped. And to me, it's just screaming North Asheville Community Center. So I'm hoping maybe election 2030 have that. But in the meantime, in a way, I'm grateful that the city is doing this with 4.1 because it's really focusing my attention on the fact that North Asheville does not have a community center. North Asheville needs a community center. And I look forward to working with the new city manager and hopefully making this a priority. Thank you for listening to me, everybody.
Okay. All right, so should we do a resolution by each location or wait till the
We
end?
need to vote.
Or
Do you want to do one at a time, or do you want to see them all?
I think we should probably go ahead and approve each one as we move through, because each situation and circumstance is unique.
Mhm.
And I'm sure we'll have further comment. So, all right, so, we have a
16.
resolution
16.
to move precinct 4.1. Whereas the current voting location for precinct 4.1 in North Asheville is North Asheville Community Center. And whereas North Carolina General Statute 163-128 provides that a county board of elections shall have power from time to time by resolution to establish, alter, discontinue, or create such new election precincts or voting places as it may deem expedient. And the county board's proposal is subject to approval by the executive director of the State Board of Elections. Now therefore be it resolved, the Buncombe County Board of Elections as follows, that pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 163-128, voting for precinct 4.1 will cease to occur at North Asheville Community Center, and that pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 163-128, Claxton Elementary School, 241 Merriman Avenue, Asheville, North Carolina, 28801, be the new voting location for precinct 4.1, and that all notice requirements of North Carolina General Statutes 163 shall be met. This resolution shall be effective upon the date of its signing by the board's chairperson and dispatched by the executive director of the State Board of Elections as consideration for the board's decision on December 9th, 2025. I have a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make the motion so we can have a discussion. This sounds like a permanent move. Like the city is saying, stay away from it. I would hope that we could have more discussion with the city before we finalize this. I think the city, I mean, this is unacceptable. The city does not have the right to do what they are trying to do here. We have a claim on using that facility. Am I wrong? What am I misunderstanding?
So Ryan, you can fill in too if I miss things,
Sure.
but
What are they using the building for?
Storage.
no. So the North Asheville Community Center is being used for storage and is housing rec staff. So the
What?
rec staff,
Staff.
there are people that are working there.
Since when?
We have communicated through email and phone and have chatted with many people in the structure, including the director of Parks and Rec, about the facility and their timeline for moving to a new location. And they don't have one. They don't have a clear timeline for moving out. And so I definitely recommend a permanent move. If a new location, if that location becomes available again, then we'll bring it back to the board.
They say they did have a building that they were using in Swananoa to house all the equipment, but it was destroyed during the flood.
I do have another question about it though.
Yeah.
How close, since we're moving into 3.1, how close is this to the voting precinct for 3.1, and is it going to cause confusion?
For St. Mark's,
Yeah, I don't think it will. Claxton is like at the corner of Merriman and Hillside.
Yeah.
You've got to go all the way down to Chestnut to St. Mark's. I really don't think that the voters will be confused, although, I mean, odds are someone's going to be. I mean, it's just,
Can you
if they see voting at Claxton Elementary School, they could easily, oh, look, they moved it from St. Mark's to Claxton.
be my only
Gonna
concern.
happen, especially for folks. Yeah. Yeah, folks across the street.
Is there any plan for these 7 or whatever you're presenting today for us to send out the notices to the folks that live in these precincts?
Yeah, they'll get
So
a,
they'll get automatically, and then it'll be in big letters that this is a change and that
Yes.
they need to, okay.
yeah,
You-
yes,
you
they
know,
will
you
get,
know the postcard that we get that tells you where you vote in your districts? Everybody in that precinct's gonna get that card.
and we'll
It'll
also
also-
have signs up. Yeah, I'm
It'll-
thinking we're going to say the same thing I was, but go ahead.
It'll also be noticed in the newspaper as well as posted on our website. And there'll be signs at both locations as well.
I might be mistaken, but I honestly believe that both precincts use the identical ballot style. So even if there is,
They could vote.
I think
Yeah,
we'll be
that would be
okay. I'd want to double check that, but I don't think a district goes through those two.
That makes me feel a little better.
They're in the same district, yeah.
And I know that that it's disappointing on other levels of the community center aspect of it not being available. But the city of Asheville has always respected that elections has authority to use the public locations.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You're down in your.
I'm just saying that
I can hear.
just saying that I know that it's disappointing that the community center isn't available for us and for larger reasons. But I just want to make sure that it is said that the city of Asheville, especially the rec department, has always respected elections and allowed us into those locations. They take that statute of where, government, public supported facilities are able to be used for elections. They take that and they move stuff for us.
Except now, I don't,
So this was not their call. It's strictly the city's call.
Was their call. It was definitely their call, but it's,
well,
this is what,
Any other discussion or?
I just say if this is what the best location Ryan can find, then I think we should go for it. At this point, we can
Yeah, we can always change it.
continue to pursue it, see what's going on with that location.
yeah, and with Claxton not in session on election day, there will be adequate parking for election workers as well as for voters.
Jake, it makes the ingress and egress not an issue, but this one's full session.
It would work.
Nobody's going in.
I deal with it a lot, and it's a tough intersection.
I call the question.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and the question has been called. All in favor of approving the resolution as presented by Ryan and moving 4.1 precinct to Claxton Elementary, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the drama continue.
Thank you.
Yeah, Courtney's motion.
All right, on the next slide, it's going to be 26.1. That's St. George's Episcopal Church.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I made the motion so we could have discussion. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. All right, so St. George's, we've used that location for a couple of years. And this time they came to us and they said, we have a lot of services out of our church and we just don't think we can do it next year. And it is kind of a small location. So I started looking around for a larger location and I just happened to call Malvern Hills Presbyterian Church right across the street. And actually that's where Marianne attends church. So they welcomed us in and they have a good parking situation and nice big fellowship hall. And the cool thing is if a voter does show up at the old voting location, they can literally just walk right across the street. So yes, I would like to propose Malvern Hills as the best
Great
location.
solution, sir.
Yeah.
Great
They
solution.
decided not to charge us.
Oh, wow.
Think we could move on to the next one and maybe
go.
pull them together here? I hate to do 7.
Each
Or,
one.
oh, there is a resolution. Okay. All right.
So, all right, so I'll read the resolution. The bottom part, the location to location.
Well, if that's the case, then why don't we go through all the others? If they're all the same,
They
except for
can-
just, it's
Yeah.
this precinct and this location. That's,
We can do
Okay.
that.
That makes more sense.
All right.
well,
Now, good. Yeah, we'll move on to the next slide. It's going to be 27.2 Beaver Dam Fire Department. This was another location that's affected by Helene. It took on some flooding and it was remodeled, taking away our voting space.
I'll tell you. Is this a permanent one?
Yes.
I'm not quite sure I understand. It was
Even if-
remodeled,
Mhm.
and how did
Yeah.
that take our voting space away?
They made offices for the personnel that work in that department.
Okay.
And
I can just say this from the fire station, the Beaver Dam Fire Department, it was a very small fire station and still is. And what was the voting room or the community room or the meeting area is now offices when they repaired the damage from. So there's not really a big room there anymore for us to use.
So they took away the big meeting room, basically, yeah.
Correct.
How large is this precinct? How many people?
That's not real big.
about
If you go out Beaver Dam Road, it's precinct 27.2 begins where the city line ends. 27.2 is Beaver Dam Valley in the county. 22.2 is Beaver Dam Valley in the city.
Okay.
I believe it's about 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And so Beaver Dam Fire Department, that was one of our out of precinct
Right.
departments to begin with, because 27.2, it's residential, and then it backs right up to the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it's just undeveloped areas. So it was difficult to find a replacement location. I did find North Asheville Library off of Merriman. It's about approximately 2 miles from that location, but I believe everybody in that location would know where North Asheville Library is. And yeah, I'd like to, because we'll be having early voting there, and then we can just carry on over into election day. So
Next.
okay, next slide. It'll be 34.1. That's Lakeview Senior Center. They took on extensive damage from Helene, so they were out of commission. I did find, let's see, Black Mountain Library, which is actually in precinct. And they also do early voting there, so we could just roll over into election day. Black Mountain Library, it's about 1.5 miles from Lakeview Senior Center, the old precinct. And just let me know when you're ready to move on to the next one.
We good?
So that's the same precinct.
Same precinct, yes.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, next one will be 35.1 Black Mountain Montessori School. They're a fully private school. They just decided they didn't want to have elections there anymore. They felt it interfered too much with the school day. I can kind of understand that. And I looked inside that precinct. I was not able to find another suitable location inside of that precinct. I did find St. James Episcopal Church, which is right outside of that precinct. It's about, it's just shortly outside of that precinct. I believe it was about a mile and a half also, or 1/2 a mile. And we did, St. James was one of our replacement, temporary replacement locations during Helene, and the voting there went pretty well. So that was a site I'd recommend for 35.1.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, now I'll head on to the next one if nobody has any more questions about Black Mountain Montessori. 41.1, that would be French Broad Fire Department. Similar situation as Beaver Dam. They had some remodeling done, taking away our voting space. Alexander Baptist Church, which is right down the road, maybe 1 mile from French Broad Fire. They welcomed us in. They were a good temporary placement site for Helene also. So, and I think I mentioned they are in precinct.
They're not far down the street, and
Mhm.
the fire station is still under complete renovation.
Mhm.
It's a mess.
How far is this from the original? About a mile?
Yeah, about 1 mile. It's on the same road, down the same road.
That's very
Six.
doable.
Yeah,
I know
okay.
this takes a lot of legwork for you to get all this together, so thank you for that. It takes
Oh,
a great
very
deal
welcome.
of time and driving around and scratching your head, I'm sure.
Okay, and now the final location for tonight, that's 60.2 Reynolds Fire Department. It was kind of a safety issue, the way the bays are set up to access the voting area. You kind of have to walk in front of the bays, and we just thought it would be better fit to go to Reynolds Middle School. We used Reynolds Middle School as a temporary replacement location during Helene. That went really well. They have a big gym there, plenty of parking. They'll be closed for the primary. Reynolds Fire Department, we used them for a long time. They were out of precinct, and Reynolds Middle School, they're out of precinct also. Just because their precinct is just one of those areas that have a large residential area, and it's just hard to find a suitable place there. So I would recommend Reynolds Middle School for 60.2 to replace Reynolds Fire.
All right, are there any further questions?
My main question, Ryan, is for all of these precincts that we've just been discussing, will the November 3rd location be the same as the March 3rd location?
Yes, well,
Bingo, you win.
yes.
Wait a minute,
It-
he's at a well.
As long as nothing unforeseen happens,
Look, I realize
Yeah.
that, we could get another hurricane or something.
yeah.
No, I realize that.
Schools could be closed.
Yes,
Very good point. Okay.
yes, they are. Future workday, right?
Right now we have the schools are closed, March primary. Buncombe County Schools, they are closed on their draft calendar. They're closed in November also. We are working closely with Asheville City Schools to be closed for November also. We're working on it. I know a lot of people in that system are trying to push for that to be closed that day also. So yes, it is in the
Well,
works.
You've moved a couple of them, but the one going back, the one I'm worried about is Claxton.
Claxton, yeah.
I know that traffic.
What's the history with Asheville schools and election day?
They're usually open.
So the schools generally close on the general elections, but not the primaries. And so we've been working with them they approve their calendars every year. And so we've been working with them to make sure they know the dates, that they're aware. And so far they have been prioritizing that. So I would imagine that they would be closed on
I don't
the
know of any
general election day.
election that my precinct school was closed.
Hmm.
They've always been open.
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for the board to address the Asheville City Council and remind them how important, I mean, they all got elected. Remind them how important our work is and how crucial it is that we make voting available to the community. And that's why we need all of these facilities. And, frankly, we're disappointed that you're taking away 4.1. We understand the hurricane, and hey, it was big news in my neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. On Thursday, the street up at my corner reopened after over 60 weeks. I realize it takes a long time to get this stuff done. But I do get concerned that we're not a priority in their eyes and ought to be, especially considering what the law says. I mean, so I'm going to be contacting the city. I'm going to be talking to the mayor and members of the council about, at least a teacher workday. on election day, whether it's a primary or general, at least a teacher workday, so there won't be school buses coming in. That- There you go. Just please, we don't ask for much.
The city school board too.
Yep.
Because the school board sets the calendar.
True.
And so they, I mean, and I'm sure that's who you work with and folks that are on the school board. So,
Yeah, I know some folks on the school board too.
obviously calendar school board, so that we can coordinate and make sure this is.
I would expect school board members to be sympathetic. After all, they all got elected.
I want to say one thing, but for decades, cities have planned to have community centers and fire stations open to the public for voting. Mostly that's where the voting stations were. And if we get them taken away piecemeal, it makes it harder for us to provide an adequate facility for people to vote. I
And
think we just need to remind the city of that maybe.
And it sets a precedent that I think Jake is worried about too, that, you know, we acquiesce one or two times and then all of a sudden that's just the way it is from that point on. So
Well,
I
it's
worry
hard
about
for the public
precedent.
too. Excuse me, Sally, I didn't
It's okay.
mean to interrupt, but it's hard for the public to have their voting station changed. It's easier in their mindset just to get to the voting station where they know it is and they expect it to be there every election cycle. So it just doesn't make sense to keep moving us around if we can avoid it.
And it's not just the city. That's the county's fire department out in Beaver Dam. That's not the city's. So, you know, the county let us down by converting what had been our voting space into offices. So now there's no space at Beaver Dam. So
Yep.
this is,
I will say 41.1 will return. The fire department will return
all right.
Good.
and have a much bigger space. So at least we have that going for us, which is nice.
Okay.
If I could have a motion to approve these changes as presented by Ryan and that each resolution will reflect those changes. Thank you, Marion.
I second.
Second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you, Ryan, for all
You're
your
very
hard
welcome.
work. And Gabriella, did you give me all of them? You did, of course you did. I'm so stupid. I should have known they were late, right?
I would say that we need to follow up though, rather than just say, okay, fine. Next time we do this, we should follow up and make sure that any of these facilities that
Right.
that are now available that we could go back to.
Ryan, thank you so
Oh,
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's one more thing I want to fill you guys on. There's one more missing piece to the precinct puzzle. It's 57.1. That's Emma's Grove Baptist Church. They just decided they wanted to go a different way. So they're not going to be a precinct for 2026. Now that was a really difficult precinct. No real tax supported structures in that area. Negi and I, we are going to meet with Cane Creek Community Center tonight, and we're going to talk with them, and hopefully we'll be able to get them on board with this, and that'll be if y'all, after we talk to them, if y'all feel it's a good location, that'll be the last piece too.
What's that precinct number again?
57.1.
Okay.
How long have,
Meeting goes well.
how long have they been a precinct for us?
Emma's Grove.
Huh?
They were a new precinct in 2024. They did the primary. They did the second primary, and then they were disaster distribution for the general.
So did we do anything that didn't go well there?
That's what I would really like to know. All I could get from my contact there was they don't want to be a side anymore. I asked if it was something we could do,
Right.
something we did, something we could do
Right.
better. I never heard any feedback, but yes, I would like to know why also.
So they were only a site for
One.
one
Round.
term, one time.
Just a primary and second primary. Yeah.
Could be they just found out exactly what it was going to entail.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And then if we could go over the out of precinct voting locations.
Page in there. a highly colorful page.
Yeah. Devin did a really good job of making a map that pretty easy to understand. We have 16 out of voting precincts in the county, and we've had these precincts. A lot of these go back to like 2009, 2016. We've had them for many years. And these are some of our precincts where it's mostly residential, mostly rugged. There may be large pockets without any development. So we did have to look outside of the precinct, and fortunately the law lets us do that. If there's not a suitable location inside the precinct, it'll let us look outside. It's Yeah, it's 163-130 is the statute. But anyway, as you can see, most of these locations are out of precinct. The actual voting location in many areas, it's like right across the street from the precinct boundary. So we do a pretty good job. There are a couple of them that are a little further, but it's just because we weren't able to find a suitable location. And you do have an extra resolution that that names all 16 of these.
Just, you were talking about the main reason is generally that they're rural areas without proper structures.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where exactly this Johnston Elementary School is in that precinct, 43.2.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fairly populated area, so I'm trying to figure out why there wouldn't be anything in that area.
Okay, let me pull that one up.
That's up Lester, is that right?
Oh yeah, that's
Where are you?
off a New Leicester Highway.
Kind of around. Is it down by where you turn off?
Yeah.
The ink. Oh, okay. Well, aren't there a lot of people there? What? There's not any structure that would be.
It's about 1,800 voters in that.
1,800.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I just know Leicester has grown so much, and there's just not any place. There's no churches, any new churches or anything in that area.
No, none that we could find. If there was a new tax supported structure that went up, we would, we'd definitely be all over it trying to get in there.
Yeah, I just kind of. All right.
But it is.
So would you like for me to read the resolution just to give you the full list of the locations? So precinct 13.1, we'll vote at Calvary Baptist Church. Precinct 23.2 at Tridestone Missionary Baptist Church. Precinct 23.3 at Evergreen Charter School. Precinct 24.1 will vote at Crossroads Assembly. 33.2 Black Mountain Primary. 36.1 First Baptist Church of Black Mountain. Precinct 39.3 Fairview Community Center. Precinct 43.2 Johnston School. 45.1 Inca Middle School. 48.1 Hominy Valley Elementary School. 56.2 Skyland First Baptist Church. 60.4 Abiding Savior Lutheran Church. 61.1 Riceville Community Center. 69.1 High School. 71.1 Weaverville Community Center. And 68.1 Newfound Communities. Any questions? This is that these precincts are located out of.
Could we get a list of, not the whole, just a list of the precincts themselves? I don't write that fast.
Oh, this list.
Okay.
I know where they are, but just the names as you read them off.
We can do a copy of the.
And Madam Chair, I just want to make one clarification. It wasn't precinct 68.1. It was precinct 681. It's that long skinny red one. over on the left-hand
Yeah, that's the
plus
last.
the map. No, I've done this for a long time. So I know about that critter out there. The 681 is a strange precinct. Strange number, strange shape.
So may I have a motion to accept the resolution as read?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Courtney. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right. Well, thank y'all so much.
Again, thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
you.
Oh, yeah,
That's okay.
16.
Right.
Chocolate.
Maggie, Matt appointments or is Karen? I just want to be able to say Nagy Fox, come to the front. She's doing both.
Second. Trying to find a way to attach it. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. So I have the list for you. So as you all know, statute 163-166.35 allows the board to make the appointments of the early voting workers after recommendations from the two political parties. And so this year, those nominations were due to us on December the 1st. We had 59 Republicans nominated and 80 Democrats nominated. Statistics from that.
You said 59 and 80?
59 and 80. And then for the Republicans, 36 of those have chosen to accept an assignment. 7 of them we have not heard back from, so I consider them still in limbo. And 16 of them are unable to work. And then on the Democrat side, we had 80 that were nominated. 63 of them have accepted their assignment. 9 of them we have not heard back from, still in limbo. And 8 are unable to work.
And what was the number? You said 59 for the Republicans?
Okay, yes,
That were nominated?
yes.
Okay.
How many you didn't hear back from? 8 what?
7 I did not hear back from, and we still consider them to be out there. They may still surface, and we have a couple of slots that are vacant if they are able to take those. And if they can't, then they'll be put on the backup list. And we do know that people will drop out as we get closer and closer to training. Things will happen to people and they will drop out. So people on the backup list will then be moved into a slot that they're willing to take. So we have almost all of our workings are party nominated people, but there are some that were not. Those are people that worked for us in the past and did not wish to participate in the party process. I had a number of people who were quite vocal that they would not do that. And since they've worked for us and they were good workers and they wanted to do it, we found them a slot. And then the other people that have come through in that same manner, they're sort of in limbo and waiting to see if we have vacancies for them.
Just a very quick look here. It looks like we don't have as much parity with chief judges.
Right. We have very few of the chief judges. We have quite a few UNAs. For chief judges, we're looking at people who have experience, who've worked for us before, and who've proven that they can do this job. So
That's
we've
not
got
the way the statute reads.
the
Statute reads that we need to appoint those that the party chairs submit to us.
Right, but those people have to be able to do the job for the voters. The voters are the priority here, the parties. We rely on the parties for nominations, but let's not lose sight of the fact of what our mission is. And it's not about the parties. It's about the voters in the community.
Statutes and having parity so that we are a check and a balance.
Well, where does it say parity in the statute?
Well, it says specifically that we appoint people recommended by the parties.
Right,
We
but
make
but it
this
doesn't
decision.
say parity anywhere in the statute as far as I am aware. And the priority, I believe, should be the delivery of service to members of the community. We work closely with the parties. We get valuable input from the parties. In the end, it's not about keeping the parties happy. It's about serving the voters. And I don't think we should lose sight of that fact. I know what the law says, and we do follow the law, but the law says nothing about parity. So I'd rather not hear, yeah, but I'd rather not hear about parity when there's nothing in the law about parity. So, you know, I think we've got something that works very well in this county. I haven't heard people complain about the service they've received at the polls, and I've been doing this for a while. And one of the things that I've appreciated very deeply about Ms. Ray's work in this area is the fact that partisanship is not the priority. It is really customer service that's the priority. And I don't want this board to lose sight of that priority, because that's number one, at least in the estimation of this board member. I realize I've got 4 colleagues on this board, and we all have our own opinions, but I firmly believe customer service is the priority.
Okay.
We do follow the statute. We've got, we have gotten.
Say that we just get to choose who we want from that list. It says if they give us a list, we must choose from that list.
Do
And-
the parties actually ask us for does it say chief judge on there?
Thank you. People are asked if they would be willing to be a chief judge, and most people say no. It is very, very hard to find people to be a chief judge. They do not want to do it. They want to be a worker. And in the places where I have a chief judge who was not nominated by either party, it's because nobody was willing to do it. So we have a couple of people who will do that over and over and over again, and then the vast majority of people don't have a very polite response when they're asked, would you like to step up and be a chief judge? They do not want to do it.
And we maintain our bipartisan group in every precinct. I mean, we've got Democrats and Republicans overseeing the process with each other. Anyway, whether that chief judge is from one party or the other. I mean, there are still people from the other party present and active within that voting process. So,
Right.
And question, just to kind of address, I think, Mary Ann's point and Sally's, because I think there's a question that maybe we need to ask party chairs, and the question of what about the process that the parties initiate to create the list? Do people not want to be a part of? Because from my history, it's a matter of asking
right.
people that have either participated or been part of in the past. That's where you start. You call back, you ask, and if they're willing, they're on the list. If they're not, I'm always going to say, well, would you share with me why? So I can try to address some of those concerns.
Sure.
But I think the process rests with the parties. And so therefore, the list has to initiate from them. But I also understand that there are people that are tired of party politics and want to still be part of
The process.
elections.
Right.
But to Mary Ann's point, and to Jake's point, I'm not sure that's addressed in the statute either. Because
Right.
it says the list comes from the party, and that we don't then go out and find our own people.
Exactly.
It's a list initiated, correct?
Election Services staff receives input from the parties per Section 163. The parties never succeed in giving us all the names that we need. And that needs to be clearly understood. It's not Republican, it's not Democrat, it's everybody. And a lot of that has to do with geography. In fact, if you go through this, it becomes easier to see where folks in different parties reside, because, you know, I look at some of these and I say, okay, you know, I see these Democrat chief judges in AM and PM. Okay, I look over here, I see Republican judges in the AM and the PM. It depends on where. People want to be doing election work near where they live. It's just so much more convenient than traveling. Buncomb's a pretty big county. You could travel all over the place. the nice thing about this arrangement is that when you go into vote, the chances are pretty good that you're going to see somebody that you recognize because they're all from this area of each early voting site.
I want to put one thing in. Being a chief judge is quite a learning curve for a first comer. It is not simple. It's very complicated. And I think early training might be one of the answers to getting more people to step up and take that job. It's a long day. It starts at 5:30 in the morning.
Early voting's a little bit later, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's 5:30 to 6, and it doesn't end till 8:30 or 9.
No, that's election day. So early voting is a shift.
Early voting is different.
Morning and afternoon shift.
Okay. Well, that's better, but
This is better.
election day is a long day. And I understand why a lot of people, and some of this depends on age, want to spend that long at the polls. It's very tiring
It is.
and it's a long day. So
Yeah.
I think maybe those who have a problem with this need to find somebody to start doing early training.
And another consideration when it comes to the early voting workers, it's a 2.5-week commitment.
Right.
Mhm.
And I know as that date approaches, folks realize I can't do 2.5 weeks. And that's why we have some folks saying, oh, gee, I can't do it.
Strong.
And it's because it is a real commitment. It's 2.5 weeks and you're expected to be there.
Early voting's long in a different way than election day.
Yeah.
It's one big full
Well, they're
day.
both long.
Well,
They're
and
both long.
They're both long.
Long in different ways, yeah.
And the training Courtney talks about is certainly, I think, is right. I think part of it, though, you just have to experience. And so that it's, really important that a first comer to me is mentored. If they're going to be a chief judge down the road, they've got to be mentored and learn the process. And you can be trained, but you also, until you go through it yourself,
Hands-on.
that's experience that, right, you can't train. So.
I did
Well, our
have
staff doesn't necessarily have to train. The parties could train their own people if they wanted to.
Well, they
I mean,
wouldn't
somebody
necessarily
could just
know
take
the.
that role and learn how, if they've been a chief judge, they can
I see
figure
what
out
you're
how to
saying.
do it. Let's get people up to snuff so that they're not so intimidated
Yeah,
by the whole
So
situation.
Courtney's right.
It's long.
The parties could have sessions where they provided some information, some orientation to people who might be interested in serving as election officials. You can't ask the parties to do the training because the training needs to be uniform for
Right.
everybody who's an election official.
Some good orientation.
Yeah,
And would
I
be
just
a good idea.
tell them the ropes because there's a lot of really experienced folks from both parties who could easily stand in front of a room and say, hey, this is what I do. This is how I do it. This is how many elections it took me to get comfortable enough to be a chief judge. But yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It's
Ask
a
the
big
parties.
time commitment. And I'm not saying that the party should train their people because the election officials have
Should,
to train their people. But they can get them up to a certain level so that they're not so intimidated and think it's too hard.
And Jake's idea is good that the ones that have already done it could speak to the ones that are interested in my,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Because
I think that's where it starts.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll talk to people in the Democratic Party because believe me, they work really, really, really hard to develop these lists of names to provide to Karen Ray. And having that kind of orientation session or information session might actually help them develop better lists more quickly with more people. So, I mean, I'll talk to folks on the blue team anyway.
Glenda,
My only concern is we always say that this board follows the law. And the way I read the law, it says if we are given this list for these positions by each party, that we must choose from that list.
Well, unless
That's it.
We're not doing that.
No, I have done that. All the people who were nominated
Right.
are on
Are
this
they
list.
used in
Okay.
positions for which they were nominated.
They were not necessarily nominated to be in any position. In many cases, it did not say what they wanted to do.
Most don't.
Those people that I called up and said, so would you be willing to work as a chief judge this time around? No. I ended up with about 6 empty chief judge positions. Workers filled, no problem.
Mhm.
Chief judge positions, not filled. I had to go back and look and see who worked in 2024 and call people up and say, well, now I see that you weren't nominated. Most of them you'll see they were unaffiliated. And so it was their understanding that they couldn't be nominated, which is not true. They can be, but they thought they couldn't be, so they didn't participate in the party process. And when I asked them, would you be willing to come back and work? They said yes, and they'd be willing to be chief judge. So that's the only way that we got the chief judge positions filled for today.
So were there ones that were designated chief judge just from each of the parties that were not put into those roles?
Only one.
Can you explain that one?
It's a person who was nominated by the Democratic Party. And our past experience with her is that she agrees to do it, but then doesn't go to Spherion to do the onboarding, doesn't get the background check done in time. And I'm left not knowing whether she's going to work or not.
Okay, and I'm very grateful for that example, because the parties can give you lists of names, but we rely on the experience of our staff working with these volunteers to make sure that the assignments that we make are going to work. And, you know, some of this stuff we're not going to talk about in meetings about, you know, someone who doesn't onboard and stuff like that. But it's people. I mean, and one of the, I so appreciate and respect the work that Karen Ray has done in this area the past 4 years. Because I remember when we went through all this stuff after the 2020 election, it was kind of nightmarish. And I really appreciate the steps that staff has taken to normalize this. It goes smoothly. And I look at the improved relations that we have with both of the parties, and it pleases me so much. Ms. Ray, thank you. You have done amazing work in this regard, and those are going to be tough shoes to fill.
Aaron can do it.
It's no, he's got absentee.
Oh, he's working on being
He's
absent.
got absentee. That is a headache of a
Well, that's
totally
right.
different color.
Yeah.
Oh,
You don't know who.
He's also back there going,
You're going to be good, buddy. Don't worry.
Kareen's gonna find.
Just so you know, you're going to do backup on this recruitment stuff. Okay. But Ms. Ray has really done marvelous work coming up with this process that is helping build experience in folks who are coming on board. They're doing election after election, and that's how people become chief judges. You keep doing this enough so that you've got that confidence, and then the folks in your workspace have confidence in you as a leader. So, Ms. Ray, just thanks for
Thank
making
you.
this work
Thank
so
you.
smoothly.
add Mary Ann and then.
Yep. So I just kind of wanted to, and I say this every time, I wanted to build off of what Jake is saying, is that this is a big job for the parties. And we have always worked on doing our best to make parity happen, even though it's not part of, as Jake said, it's not explicit in the law that is something that needs done, but we want that balance, so we work for it. And the statute does say parties supply names, and that the board appoints these names if they are able to do the job. And there's a lot in that process of whether they're able to do that job. We get so many names that are submitted of people who don't even want to. There's a big, it kind of seems like a simple pipeline, but there are a lot of pieces to it. And Karen has done a wonderful job of that. And the parties have done a wonderful job. Over the past 5 years, we have increased the name submission. It'd be great to get statistics on that, but we had years where the Republican Party submitted no names, and that our relationship has increased drastically. And it also takes time for a poll worker to work long enough to feel comfortable to be a chief judge, and that's increasing over time too. And so we're really building. And then I know that it seems normal right now, but we didn't have to get early voting names before. That's another load that just got added on us last year. So the parties now have to find even more people. So the workload is increasing there as well. Yep.
Is that when the law changed?
Yes, that was when the law changed. And the parties have worked wonderful with us to keep pace with all of those changes with us. So it's a partnership, trying to find the best people, and we will keep working on it.
I did want to bring a couple of things just to your attention. Upper Hominy Valley, of course, we still have 4 slots vacant in that. It's a location that's quite remote, and so only people that live out there seem willing to go there. So we're looking for people. If any of you know anybody that lives out there, we're looking for people to fill those. West Asheville, we have 1 vacant slot that would have to be a Republican to try to get some parity in that
Where is
in
that
that
again?
team.
West
West
Asheville
Asheville,
Library?
West Asheville Library. I have got
Right.
many people that want to work at West Asheville Library, but it's also an area that has far more Democrats, and most of the nominations were for Democrats. So I'm leaving open that space in West Asheville. And then the same thing at Wesley Grant Center. There's an afternoon slot there as well. And ideally that would be filled by a Republican. It could also be an unaffiliated person, because we do have 1 person who was nominated there by the party. And then that fills the slate, and then all the other people that come in will go as backup workers. So we'll start building that list. Marianne.
I just have one question. You have the Chief Judge Mark. I know this is early voting. So you have the Chief Judge Mark, but you don't have the party judges.
Party judges,
It's
yes.
Just
What we are going to do is, if a situation arises, because they change, sometimes the team will change from one day to another. So if we're looking at a particular team, we don't know if Bob, the Republican that's on there, is going to be working on Tuesday the 13th. He could be out sick. So we will look and see who's on that team and is a Republican, who's on that team and is a Democrat, and nominate them to be, or designate them to be party judges if called for. Otherwise, there aren't very many decisions that they have to make in early voting. It's a little bit different for election day. So
going to say that's only.
that's an issue that we need.
that would be what, like a challenge?
Yes, like a challenge, and also photo ID. If the photo doesn't match, if the photo ID is not considered to be acceptable, the 3 judges have to make a decision about that. So we
Okay.
would just say,
Well, I figured
it's you and it's you.
I figured that's because it was early voting, but
Yeah, just a little bit different.
Need a motion to. So I need a motion to approve the list as presented. Okay, thank you, Sally.
I'll second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Karen, thank you.
Thank you.
I think you're next on the list again,
I know.
sister.
Maureen, I do have one question. The vacancies, since they were not appointed today, how are those going to be handled?
So we'll bring more names to the board, and later today I have a resolution for vacancies also. So we'll go over that too.
So we'll see him.
But how will they be appointed? They won't be appointed for the 2 years.
Yes, it will.
Early voting is just by election.
Okay,
Just one.
that's for just election day, this 2 years. Okay.
Right,
Yep.
and the 2-year appointments occurred in the summer, and we don't make them again until years, yeah, so it's.
They're called 2 years.
Oh, that's how that works.
Yeah,
Good one.
they're pretty quick on things like that.
As for the MAT team, so the MAT team was actually easy to do, because the parties, when they submitted the names for early voting, several of the people on the list indicated that they were interested in working MAT. And so all I had to do was call up and say, do you want to work early voting or MAT?
Mhm.
And then that narrowed down who's on this list. We were aiming for 10 Democrats and 10 Republicans. That was what worked very well in 2024. We got pretty close. We got 9 Republicans, we got 8 Democrats, and we got 2 unaffiliated people. But you'll notice that I put a D after their name. That's because they were nominated by the Democratic Party.
Cool.
So although they're unaffiliated in the voter records, we don't consider them to be unaffiliated. So for purposes of making up a MAT team, they would have to be partnered with a Republican. They would not be true unaffiliated.
So there are 9 Republicans, 8, and then these 2 that are unaffiliated. That still leaves 1 Republican slot, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And we still have time to get somebody else to join that. So I think that the training for the MAT team, and Erin will correct me if I'm wrong, that's not starting until we get past the holidays. So, you know, we've still got sort of 3 weeks for somebody else to come through and be identified.
Ms. Ray, I'm wondering, would these be all the MAT program participants in
Yes.
2026? So I don't see Mr. Reitmeyer's name.
No, Mr. Reitmeyer is not on the list. So
Oh, wow. Well,
we have other jobs for Mr. Reitmeyer.
okay.
Hopefully you'll see him at board meetings on duplication. So.
Yes, good.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of clarify, remind everyone what the MAT teams are. So they're the multi-partisans assistance teams that are trained to go out to assisted living facilities to help voters vote absentee. And they go out in teams, bipartisan teams. So the equal number doesn't matter so much because you can just make somebody work harder. They're going to go out to more sites. So I just wanted to make sure that to remind us that that's how that system works. Not quite like a poll worker.
Well, and I think in your clarification for the unaffiliated, because the Democrat Party nominated them, you can't use them as unaffiliated with either a Democrat or a Republican because they're
We're-
designated by being.
Yeah, so we are going to only partner them with a Republican
Yeah, that was-
teammate. Normally, we do have a couple of people who are true unaffiliated,
Sure.
and they can go either way, but that wasn't the case here. So
Any
And-
further discussion? All in favor of could I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve the staff recommendation for multi-partisan team members for the 2026 election.
Second?
A second.
Courtney, thank you. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I will start the sheet that everybody has to sign.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Oh,
we'll
okay.
sign this one.
Yeah.
Return
keep
it.
this
And then if I
Great.
could have an extra copy, Gabrielle, mine will be signed and given. Oh, thank you, Karen. That way we only have to sign one. Find everybody. Yeah.
Oh, it's here
I'll just start 'em. Sally, if you'll start that for me,
Sure.
so I can keep the meeting.
Did you say sign in 2 places?
Yes. There it is. Rena, you're gonna do the resolution?
We on the same page?
All right, well, Karen, while we're doing that and they're signing, I'll let Corinne move forward with the resolution for vacancies.
So earlier this year in October, the state board put out I think it was a resolution actually, not a numbered memo, that talked about making sure that we have backup assistance. And that kind of like tipped me over into deciding that we would be much more organized if we just made one resolution with how to deal with vacancies for election day, early voting, and our backup workers. So that's what this resolution is. Glenda has seen it. It's gone through the county attorney as well. It's a very straightforward resolution. It has also been circulated to you all. But that is the intent of it. So it is delegating from the county board to the director and the outreach coordinator the responsibility of appointing individuals to fill vacancies that occur because for whatever reason that worker can't do it. That same delegation is given to appoint those emergency election day workers that the state board asked us to have. We already were doing that process, and we do more than 8. But this just formalizes that. And then in our last resolution, we had kind of the stipulation that we would give you reports of the appointments. So we put that in there as well. And then that this would be effective just for the term. So each time that a new board comes, we would redo the resolutions just like the rest of them.
And, I've read it. I read it. I wouldn't mind having a copy right in front of me. Do you have other copies of it?
So I signed it here. Is that okay? Green, while we're waiting, can you tell me what you do when you have an event and you just go out and just talk about the election process like you did to our group one time? I remember you came and you gave a very good overall do they ask questions? Do they ask many questions?
I love doing those events because of that.
Yeah.
We get a surprising amount of engagement. Even when I go to events that are like politically oriented, that I expect that they know a lot about the election system, people always learn. Any time that we can go out to those groups, we try to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Everybody had an opportunity to review the resolution. Questions or
Well, this is, technically, this is your resolution, so,
it is?
this is, it's not really our resolution, but so what do you think of it?
Well, I think, like we discussed with the appointments, I think even though parity and names submitted by the parties is where I think we all have made, I hate to use the word assumption, but the understanding that that's where the names will come from. I think it's paramount to state that that's
The case.
where it needs to start and should start. However, I understand
Yeah.
the need for the backfill, but I think we have to always remember to start from the party list and work from those lists and make sure that we're appointing people that are at least start there. And then if there's no
Right.
other alternative, then
Right.
we go to our backup source, would be my preference of how we move this.
Yeah,
I-
and there's statute and state direction that requires that, even for filling vacancies. So we would always go to any list that we had, because the parties can give us names all the time. And then and we reach out to the parties when there are vacancies.
And I think one of the things that has been discussed in the past is that there are a lot of jobs in the precinct, not just being at the DS 200 or being on the computers or being out at outdoor voting, that kind of thing. So certain sets of skills can be managed by
Mhm.
the people that are in the facilities. So just making sure that we're working with all that want to be involved. So
Yeah, when I read the resolution, I thought it was solid. It was formalizing an existing process. And that existing process has served us very, very well. When I was chair and you could make those last minute appointments, I wasn't about to do that. Staff did that because staff knows
Sure.
the bench better than I do. So, I like the resolution. It's taking advantage of the expertise that we have while following the law and working with the parties. I like it very much.
well, while it is my resolution, I would greatly appreciate
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
A second.
all All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries. Victoria. Victoria.
Where Victoria had to wait until now.
Victoria's gonna be asked to be put higher up on the agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Holy smokes.
Hey, good evening, board.
Oh, it needs to be a bit high.
Today I'll give a overview of our fiscal year 27 budget requests. This year, rather than going into every little detail as I've done in past presentations, I'll keep it focused on the major drivers. This timeline shows where we are in the budget process, with today being the first presentation to you all. Our next upcoming presentation will be to the ACM and our budget department. And then, as you can see, some dates are still to be determined, and we will keep you updated as those dates are confirmed.
ACM is,
Assistant County Manager.
thank you.
Excellent. And then here we are displaying the spending in past fiscal years with the election types listed to allow for comparison. In the gold are the budget versus actuals in fiscal year 25, with the fiscal year 26 budget versus actuals in the dark blue. Fiscal year 26 is the budget we're currently in, and it includes the 2025 municipal election and 2026 primary election. So far, we have spent less than 20% of our budget, but as you know, we have the 2026 primary election coming up, and it will obviously have more expenses than the 2025 municipal. The requests that I'm presenting today are in fiscal year 27, which is that light blue bar, and it includes the 2026 midterm general election.
And I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows the difference between budget and actuals. So the budget is what we requested, and the actuals is what we actually spent. So we were pretty close in fiscal year 25. That's the 2024 presidential election. That's a Helene. And we did give some money back to and reduce our budget for that. And then for the cycle that we're
Say
in
that
now,
last sentence again, we did give some money back.
for when after the election, when the county was hit so hard fiscally, they
Yeah.
asked all departments, is there anything that we can cut
Okay.
and give back?
That's reasonable.
So there was about what, about 17 or 20,000 that you gave back.
Oh, I am actually not sure about that number.
Just look
The
at the difference
savings
there.
was in the early voting workers because we had
Okay.
less early voting sites.
Budget run on January 1st to the end of the year.
No,
How does it run?
These are great questions.
okay.
This is exactly what this slide was supposed to do. So yes, it's the fiscal year, not calendar year. And then just like Victoria said, the dark blue's the cycle that we're in now. That's why there's such a big difference is it's current actuals. Our spending is in front of us, where our big election's in front of
Well, I
us.
was wondering why we hadn't spent our budget.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't overestimate that much. It's the spending is coming.
The department that we give money back.
Yes. And that's kind of why we show the 3 years so that, it makes sense. It's hard to look at the year you're in. 'Cause you can't quite project that yet, especially for us with our spending at the end of the fiscal year.
Since this is not detailed, and considering where we've been recently, what are we allowing this year for legal services?
That's
Well,
coming
yeah.
up in the presentation.
Yeah,
but
let's
it-
let Victoria go through.
Coming to it.
Oh, good.
So Victoria will go through each of the programs. I don't want to like steal her thunder, and then we can get into any details that you all want to know.
So this is our budget by program, and as you can see, the early voting and election day voting are our largest cost drivers, as they both require staffing, supplies, and election site operations.
I must say, I'm feeling a little neglected here.
2%.
Just a little.
I'm happy with the board, 2%. I'm happy with that. Okay, so one of our big changes this year, in this fiscal year, we're requesting a staffing pay increase for our in-office seasonal staff and election day poll workers. So for the in-office seasonal staff, an increase is needed because of the cost of living changes and guidance from our staffing agency. Comparable positions that require the same or similar skill set are paying $19 to $20 an hour, and we are currently paying $17. So we're requesting an increase to $18 an hour for the in-house staff, seasonal staff. And then for election day poll workers, we are trying to get them to the same hourly pay level as early voting workers. And then we've seen a drop off in applicants from our staffing agency. So raising the rates will help us to ensure that we hire enough qualified staff to support the election.
Why just 18 if the average is 19, whatever it was?
We also pay a markup rate. And so I think it comes out to about $20 an hour for the $17 an hour.
Markup means,
Well, we use a staffing
cool,
service.
right,
So they're paying all of the additional fees,
Got it.
taxes, all of that on top of the 18.
okay.
So it's a little
Comes-
different than the in-house amount.
Okay, next slide. So I'll now go through each program so you can see what's included in each part of the budget. Here, contracted services, this is where our seasonal staff are budgeted, and it includes that $1 an hour pay increase that I mentioned in the previous slide. And then we also have a standard replenishment of postage, printing, and office supplies, and that's for absentee mailings, but it's also for the MAT teams. Slide.
What do the contracted services involve?
That is the in-house staff and for the MAT teams. This one is the Board of Elections program. So the main expense here is the legal counsel to the board. So we put in $20,000 is what we're requesting for that. It also includes meals for extended absentee meetings if we have those, and then includes the mileage per diem registration for the state conference next August. And then just various office supplies.
Change really on this one, thinking about the board,
It's really just that legal,
just.
the counsel to the
Okay,
board,
thank you.
yes. So for early voting, most of our requests are the staffing and site needs, as we're planning for 12 early voting sites in the general election. We're budgeting for training space because we don't have a guaranteed location yet. In past years, we've been able to use county building space. But since nothing is confirmed for the 2026 general, we have to plan for the possibility of renting a space if needed. Yes.
Question about the 12 early voting sites. Why is it not 14 or 15?
I think that's what we presented. Did we present 12?
So 12 is what Nagy is recommending.
Mm.
This board, of course, can decide something different. That's part of
Oh, yeah, we'll
why
revisit it.
we present these budget meetings. And yes, Nagy recommended 12.
What would be the budget impact of adding 2 more
Yeah.
early voting sites?
Great question. This always gets asked and I need to
Here I am.
have this. Yes, we can figure that out and bring it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to see that also.
Okay. And then, as you all know, many of our most popular sites have very small parking lots. So we're proposing parking attendants to help manage traffic and reduce congestion at those sites. And we've also added budget in the chance that we can locate commercial locations to lease for early voting, which would allow us more flexibility and better parking for the voters. So that's what's all included in the early voting program request.
The parking attendance comes in under professional services.
Yes.
And the training space rental, how much should we putting in there?
Oh, gosh. I want to say, oh, man. I've looked at this a million times.
Just
I know that we have it split out between early voting training and election day training,
Got it.
and we have budget in both of those programs.
it's okay.
To throw out a number, I would say 15,000.
And the training space is not available in this building?
Oh, actually, I have it written down.
Okay.
I have 7,000 for early voting.
For early, okay. We don't have a capacity to have training in this building?
No. I know that Karen has looked into that or tried to make that happen and not able to have space large enough that would accommodate.
In this large 3-story, 4-story building, there's no space.
This
Yes.
room is the largest room in this building.
And this is not a possibility.
We have board meetings during street meetings.
Just because I don't remember the name of the building that's directly across from our warehouse, that is a training
40 Cox.
Cox. So I know that's been an option. That's where I did my training, my poll worker judge training. But is that just because they won't commit that far in advance, or I don't remember. So please,
Or Victoria.
I'm sorry.
So we do training for 6 weeks and people just don't want to give up that space for 6 weeks. For the primary, we have 200 college and 40. So we don't like that we have to split, but we were able to make that happen, and we keep presenting this as an issue, and we keep squeaking out and not having to use that, but I'm not comfortable taking it out because it's
Right.
just.
I think that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Mhm. And then for the early voting, I wanted to remind everyone that we have 140 express votes, right? So we're kind of limited on the number of express votes that we have. We can spread those out thinner. There's other things we could do, like a hybrid system. So there could be a site that had paper ballots only. I don't like that idea, but those are some things to consider. And then when we get more and more early voting sites, that's a lot of management that we're doing.
Because it's the whole issue we just talked about.
Right.
The staffing.
Yeah, no, it's a staffing issue. No, I
Mhm.
understand that. And
We've had 14 before.
We have had 14 sites before. And-
we've had as many as 20, just so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not recommending that. That was actually kind of confusing. that election.
And
But-
there were different rules.
Yeah.
And that election, we opened up only the libraries at the beginning, and then the last week we opened up more. And we had a different, like a different voting system too. But I think that 12 sites is more than adequate.
Okay.
And
Well,
and I wanted to bring up those constraints.
No, I thank you for reminding me of the constraint on the number of express vote machines. That's a very real constraint. If you did 8 per site and you had 14 sites.
And of course, at the busy sites, we have more machines. At
Right.
the less sites, we have less machines.
And remind me how much an express voting machine costs. How much? 3,500. And at what point do we start considering purchasing more of those?
Victoria will also be talking about our CIP requests. So that's our capital improvement requests. And right now, we don't feel that there's a need for replacement equipment, but we've had those DS200s for more than 10 years now. And so we're developing a long-term plan, like a 20-year plan, and we'll be presenting that to you. Right now, we have money in the CIP for large equipment purchases, but we need to refine it and what that is. And these are exactly the questions. Do we want more express votes? Do we want express votes on election day?
Right.
I thought that that's what I wanted, and I presented that to staff, and they were like, "What?" So we just need to make sure that we're thinking through each of those
Sure.
things, and we'll definitely bring that to the board.
Okay, I'm moving on to election day. So similar to early voting, election day voting includes staffing and site needs. So here again, as I mentioned, we're budgeting for training space in case we need to rent a location. We are also budgeting for provisional research teams, which is a new cost related to Senate Bill 382. As you know, the law shortened the research timeline from 7 days to 3 days. So we'll need to hire dedicated research teams so we can process and present the provisionals to the board to meet that new deadline.
And
And
that's just sort of, I guess, a crapshoot about how much we're going to really need. Is that correct? I mean, how are you determining what you're going to need for that, for the increase?
So we look back at data, for past elections to see how many. This last election wasn't a great test of our system, but we really revamped the provisional system. Nate spearheaded that with Victoria, really overhauled that. And so he's done things like time, how long it takes to do one provisional. And so we're using that data paired with how many provisionals we've had in the past for that type of election, and we're making a guess.
Okay.
We're also checking with other counties to see how their process went too.
next. And then in office operations, these are our year-round administrative needs. So this includes mailing supplies, USPS fees, and then it also includes our travel to conferences. So one thing to note is that in fiscal year 27, we'll have 2 in-person conferences, whereas in 26, we had 1 in person and 1 virtual, or we'll have a virtual one. So so there's a higher cost there from fiscal year 26. And that's all I have.
Just as a thank you for this. It's good and the high level's great. Just as sort of a question about, I noticed that we've increased by, I don't know, how much between
It was 19%.
15% for the whole budget. Is that correct?
Yes.
From the last fiscal year.
Right.
Can you, kind of as a blush, say anything about where the most increase was?
I think the most increase was in staffing. So
Mhm.
trying to get folks up to that level where we can actually get
More
applicants altogether, but also qualified applicants. And then also giving a fair pay to our election day poll workers, getting them in on the same level as that early voting workers.
Thanks.
I have a question. One thing I don't see in here at all is anything related to increases for our professional staff.
So we don't budget for that. We budget for our operating. So that would be the county, the county that would make those changes. Or
So how do we access that?
that's a great question.
So right now, well, we follow, well, besides me, right? Have different rules under the board. We follow the county policies as closely as possible. So we have the MOU that says that. That helps us be in line with the county. Makes sure that they have the same protections and benefits and all of those things that the rest of the county has. It helps us be efficient with the services too, the health plan and workday and annual reviews and all of those things. And so that's how we have handled, staff salary. That's how most counties handle staff salary. All the counties do things there are counties that do things differently.
The
But
reason I ask
that's
is
how
I've
we
been
do.
reviewing our MOU, and that MOU still gives us the ability to do, promotions if we wish. It's
The
in our MOU.
the county commissioners still have to give the money to do that, though.
Well, that's why I'm asking at budget time.
It's not how they uh, allocate salaries. So they allocate salaries through the hiring process and through compensation study reviews, which they have every 3 to 5 years. They redo their compensation study, and we are up for one in 2026.
I would say the timing on that study is good. Considering the last time a compensation study was done for elections, it kind of fell short. I look forward to seeing this one.
What? I can't hear you.
It fell short. The board ended up passing a resolution to increase the director's salary.
That's right. That's where that.
And
Okay.
that is, and one of the reasons for that was the compensation study that had been performed did not use current data. And it's kind of tough when you're doing a compensation study and you're looking at data that's 2 years old.
So we'll need to look for that in 2026.
I eagerly look forward to
Yep.
the compensation study.
Okay.
I'm concerned that we're overlooking the fact that our current MOU, I've been looking at it today, specifically says that this board has the ability to create policies and also promotions, demotions.
Right.
That's all
Right.
in
But
our bailiwick.
and it is, but as the director pointed out, we can't give people raises unless we have those funds in the budget. And so I think that this board might want to talk about what we could do to put something into the budget,
That's what I
gave
was-
us some flexibility just in the one category of full-time staff salaries. But we've got a lot of time. Thank you for the timeline, Victoria. It was very, very helpful because Victoria's going to come back to us in many weeks. And between now and then, I think we've got an opportunity to explore that, to see what we can do to give ourselves some flexibility, but do it in a way that works in the budget process without upsetting the apple
Well,
cart.
this is going to be a presentation to the Assistant County Manager, January 29th.
Right?
And I would like to see that considered
Oh, well,
as far as an amount of money that we have available.
I think between now and then, what we could do is talk about the importance of bringing up in that meeting with the assistant county manager that the board is interested in having a provision in the budget that grants them some flexibility with respect to raises and promotions. It's something different, and it's something that really ought to be incorporated into a new MOU, an enhanced MOU. I really like the idea, except in order to make it work, we're going to have to be very careful to do it in a way that is not going to make budget people go crazy. Because if it does drive them crazy, then I'm afraid we won't be successful in getting this. So,
Can we ask Corinne and Victoria to consider what that number might look like and be in a position to bring that up in the January 29th meeting with the ACM? Is that too much to ask?
I think that, kind of asking how we might handle salary changes is important. I think that it's a highly sensitive issue that, we would need to make sure that we're being fair to staff,
Sure.
and the county does that through doing the compensation study. I agree that it has not been accepted well in the past, the compensation studies. So we would need to, figure out how to do that in a sensitive way. I do love that you all want to advocate for, fair pay for election staff. I think that that's a problem. Not just here, and Buncombe County has higher salaries than a lot of places. But it's a national issue. Elections professionals have increased in their, need to be technical operators of everything, the quick turnaround of things. We are in the media constantly. There's a lot of high level professional needs of elections workers. And I think that that's, not caught up in the pay world. So I'm
Certainly
glad.
part of that initial conversation, what you just
Mhm. And we
was 4 or
do
5.
every compensation study. We make sure to let them know. And there's a lot of studies out there too that are coming out of the research world on pay for election professionals. So
And that's
we-
shared with the ACM as well.
And we have some recommendations that we're already putting through, kind of structure changes for the department that have data
okay. Okay.
attached to those that we're putting through as well. It's the same as last year, similar, where we wanted to formalize the deputy director position into the assistant director position. That didn't happen. And this happens always with the county, where there are many, many, many requests for new positions or changes in positions, and
Are
they
we
have to
asking
choose.
for that again this year?
So this year, what I'm asking for is kind of more of a structure change. And this is completely going off topic, but I'm glad that you're asking this. So this is one of the tasks that this board delegated to me. So something that I really hoped for when I became director in 2020 was to make my department so attractive that no one would ever leave me. That is an unrealistic expectation.
Right.
And so the way that I have the department structured now, I have several people who are direct reports to me. So a great example is Gabrielle and AK. So when AK left, Gabrielle joined us, and now someone has to train Gabrielle. And I can't sit at the front desk and train all day. That structure doesn't work. So then I end up having to ask Victoria or Negi to do that. And so I need to change the structure so that it's more resilient to turnover. So my vision is director and then 2 basically division directors. So there's someone who's overseeing kind of the operations portion, which Negi has done, the like voting operations, and then the year-round things, the finance, registration, outreach, all of those programs. And then that would balance out to the number of staff that people are overseeing.
Well, it sure seems to fit the model we're currently operating under in the county.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Can we
Yeah, the
get-
county follows a structure
We
very
get the
similar to that.
information on the county budget for our personnel.
We can definitely get that.
I think we've seen-
Okay, and in terms of going forward with a proposal to the county or to the budget office, I would be thinking more in terms of a percentage than dollars.
Well,
And no, but that's Mary Ann's request is excellent because you need to know the current amount in order to figure out what percentage makes sense. What kind of flexibility does this board actually want to
Another
have?
thing I'd like to have a copy of is the current classification and pay structure established by Buncombe County. It's in our MOU. Without being able to see what that classification is, then we're just kind of flailing around with a guess.
That's a good
And
idea.
Section 2 of our MOU specifically says that we have the authority to promote or demote personnel within that classification pay structure, which without even knowing what that is, we're sort of in the dark here.
Mary Ann, I totally agree with you. I think we need to look into the county salaries and see at which level they are. Even though we are not run by the county, we are funded by the county. And I think we need that information to move forward. And it would give us teeth to do what we need if we need to make increases. I'm appalled because I know the selection staff works as hard as anybody else in the county over hours during elections and all year long. So I don't see why we should be. I'd like to compare.
Yeah, I will come up with some ideas. We had the HR team come and talk about the compensation study and like our particular department a few years ago. I'm not remembering when that was. But I think that we can have some things happen like that too.
No reason we can't see the structure
It's
for the whole
public.
county.
It is public.
Is there any reason we can't?
It's on our transparency
Yeah.
database on the public website. You
Okay.
can look at any department and all of the positions, including ours.
I think to Mary Ann's point, the MOU outlines the give and take within this board and the county. And we need to operate
Accordingly.
according to that MOU. And not just, I mean, it's not about, I understand the structure and making sure we manage the structure, but it's also our responsibility to manage the relationship, but more importantly, to take care of our team of folks that work with us and work for the board.
Mhm.
And technically, the county's already agreed to that
With the
in our
MOU.
current MOU. So we may be reworking it, but if you look at the
Minding.
current MOU, they've already agreed that we have the ability to do this. It's just a matter of, are we going to?
And how do we know what to do? I mean, that's
Yeah,
why
without
we
the
need some of the
structure.
information. Right.
What their structures are.
Yeah, and what the percentages are and all that kind of
Mm.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think a review of how changes happen is the least.
And
that we can do.
classifications
Mhm.
happen, yes.
Those change in the county all the time.
Sure.
I
They-
tell you how
they
things
tell you-
change, how things happen. You just write a letter and tell the city what you want. They may give it to you or they may not, but they might give you an increase.
Mhm.
Just ask for it. we have to ask. I think we need to stand up for our staff. They work too hard.
Mhm. And, you know,
And-
for clarification, I
Yeah.
ask. Through the system that we have, I ask.
The board can also ask.
Yes, we can explore other options too.
Victoria, thank you. Appreciate the overview and the information, and
We'll see you
just make-
soon.
you can tell it's provoked further conversation. So thank you. And it's always good for us to have this information. So I appreciate your hard work. I know how long you've been working on this. So thank you.
Thank you, Victoria.
Bree?
So, you know, you saw that timeline. And the next time that this board meets is on January 6th. So we can bring information back to that board meeting. So I want to make sure that it sounds like you would like Negi to appear at that meeting and talk about early voting. And then some information about staff salaries. So the data and like and the structure of how does salary allocation work in Buncombe County? Are there any other things that I missed budget wise?
Can we see the actual staff classifications as part of that, or?
You can. I was planning on bringing each, you know, bringing the structure of the department with the salaries.
And
All
that'll
of
have
that
the
is
class-
public.
And will
can
that
look-
have the classifications on them or no?
I can make it
Okay.
have the classifications. Yeah, I think it already has the classifications. I think what you see on that transparency dashboard is the classification, because there's no people's names. It's
Yeah.
just positions, that classification. I think where there's confusion is the job description. I think that might be something that people are remembering here. There's the kind of the classification and then the job description within it, and there's tiers. There's a whole system.
Okay.
So I'll figure out a way to bring that to you in a clear way.
Right.
We revisit this on the 6th.
Yes.
We'll have our
All right. I
epiphany
still
on the
have the
6th.
voter challenges preliminary hearing on my agenda.
We're almost there, everyone. Okay, so the voter challenges, the preliminary hearing. As you likely recall, we got another filing for voter challenges just before the election. It was right before the deadline, so you have to wait till after the election to actually hold the hearings. And then also, as a reminder, challenges are a two-step process. There's the preliminary hearing, so that's what we're doing today. And then if you believe that there is enough, you know, evidence here to look more deeply into the claims, then we have the full hearing. So today I'll pass around 25 challenges, and your duty is two things. One, to make sure that the challenge was properly filed. It's 25. And then that there is, that whether there's probable cause. And that, remember, is a lower bar than the evidentiary hearing. So you're just looking at this to make sure that, that it looks that like they're properly filed and that there's enough information that you all want to investigate more. These are the same types of challenges that you've seen in the past. We looked through it and they appear to be filed properly.
Going to divide these
Yeah, we can look at them in teams.
so we can look at them in teams.
Sure.
Yeah.
Crazy amount of stuff here.
Here's the first. Okay. I'll take these. Okay.
Oh, my. The gift bag. Yeah, no, thank you.
Has she ever tried it?
What got her the other day? Sciatica flared up. So,
I just divided them, and this is the preliminary hearing.
Thank you, sweetie.
Yes, ma'am.
all righty. Remember how this works, right?
One time I decided to put tape on it. Because again, oil was tape on it. Tea tree oil and mix 50-50 with sweet corn.
While they're looking at that, may I go to the restroom? While they're looking at those, may I go to the restroom? You still have a quorum. I have to go by.
The bone.
Is there one out here?
Okay, let me get with some Texas time of day off.
All right, so we'll make sure that's this way.
What's his name? No,
Yeah,
I get it.
it's legit.
no, we gotta make sure.
The date? Same name?
That's the difference. Judy Edwards. Why? This is Judy Ann Edwards must be her maiden name. And nothing else here to match.
Dead though. What's what?
These are beautiful. You blue bonnet, yeah.
So just the name.
We need to do something about that. And I think it's potential.
We turned in, how many this time?
These are slipping through because they see that difference and they just.
She's making it easier.
This is
It should be that difficult to clear. Yeah. So that one looks good, right?
Yep. Good.
No, that's a good challenge.
Oh, hello.
Excuse me, pains.
Oh, there's a different one.
Different.
List.
Yeah, but and then this cat,
Well, that's what they're looking on there.
she must go by Kathy. Names or something. But you see, this is good, which gives you the names.
Yeah.
That's a clever.
Sun Drive,
What's the town?
6865. She's good. Got a death certificate for everyone. Lisa Catherine. Lisa.
If you're, the alias is on there, do we need to send something?
No,
So we
because-
pull that one out.
No, this would be. What this is saying is, this is the name you're looking for.
No,
So when it came in, it showed up this way.
but it has the alias.
The challenge is that it hasn't been removed from the photo rolls
Okay.
because of the name mismatch.
So in other words, the voter roll that he.
Right.
Okay, how we got.
This is, see, this is the same thing.
Yep.
First name, she goes
Yep,
by her
yep.
middle name. Now that's right, Fred. This is from. Same Challenger. No, this is Steve.
I just want.
What's the difference in the house numbers?
Could a three be?
Oh.
Now it's
Steve's
26, 28,
26,
Like brothers.
No, they both.
26, 14. So it's
They
just.
both over cousins.
Maybe it's next
Same
door.
thing. Same line.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
What I
not.
want to do is bring this to the attention of our colleagues.
Tim's brother.
Yep.
Middle
But-
name.
Yep.
I want to make sure.
And they're
The
getting,
middle name is the
Yep.
same. so.
Yeah, yeah, everything else is right. It's just that one. Side.
Thomas.
Church.
We need guidance from state board on this.
really,
Yes, she sends us guidance. Who's worried?
Substitute.
Currently, those 4 names that can get us in trouble. And it just makes up. I don't know why that's a problem. Literally.
Boyd.
Yeah, but that's right. Name.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And that could be a difference. Residence addresses. 42. Different address.
It's gonna be challenging.
No, the challenge is that
But just, right.
results.
But they've been, but the reason they pulled these out was there was usually some problem with it.
Some mismatch. Yeah.
Right. So they can catch that, the mismatch. Correct?
Hmm.
I'm just trying to get this straight. So in other words,
No,
they
it just
didn't
wasn't-
catch the mismatch.
No, they did catch the mismatch. That's why it wasn't pulled first time.
Got it. Same thing with the names.
Right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Butler Atkins. There's the former last name. Yep. No, you was address. See what the difference was here, if this written as one word.
It would be good.
Somebody
guidance. This is.
It's been typed for.
Yep.
In the voter registration.
Exactly.
Black Creek. Yep.
Yep.
We have these things staying on the roads way too long, just. Eventually. Larry, Larry. That just. Roberts. The one that came to us that one time. Yeah, he's filed all of this. He's not here simply because this is the initial.
But he didn't make the other one. He made one, but he didn't make the second meeting. That we had one.
He didn't figure he needed to.
Right.
Didn't have any additional evidence. But
Oh, it is. Right. There's true.
Glenda, we're good.
This is 54.
This one's
This one's
21.
So it's other side of the street.
Yeah. And you're all in a huddle over there?
Oh, yeah, what's that?
We've got two that we're questioning simply because the
Yeah.
addresses are different.
Well,
We had an address that was different too.
yeah, they're, one of them, a name is a little different. I mean, these are probably okay. Yeah. Roberts Booker. Oh, then you come over here and it's Emma Sue Roberts Booker.
Yeah.
And it's at a different, it's 54 Oak. So it's the same street, but it's across the street. And, it's just, anyway, that's a discrepancy. Courtney and I wanted to make sure y'all were aware of that. And this one has a similar one where we've got Ada Lorraine Price on 2614 Bear Creek. Here I had Ada Lorraine Price, but she's at 2628.
Yeah,
Bear
I
Creek.
figured those were typos.
They could be typos. They could also be,
How many times do you find somebody with the same four names
well,
at
and
different addresses on the same
and
street?
it could also be that, someone is having some serious health issues. They go across the street with their daughter or something like that. And so that's why the address might be, instead of 2614, it's 2628.
Yeah.
It's
But I
just two
don't-
doors down or something. Anyway, they weren't
yeah.
perfect matches, so we wanted to call it to your attention
Okay.
so that we weren't just rubber stamping stuff. I want everybody
Now
to.
they
be-
got a
Can I have
couple,
the rest of them?
And we got all the others.
they had a couple that had the same issue that we had, like this was, the address was
Yeah.
same street, but maybe a slightly
There you go,
different
Brad.
number.
Yep.
The other one was the same.
We work very.
Yes, indeed.
So now that these have all been reviewed, the next step is to have a motion to bring all of these from the preliminary hearing to a full hearing.
So move.
Oh,
A second.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, so then what we will do next, thank you, Glenda, is staff will research these. We will set the hearing for the 6th, if that works for everyone.
January 6th.
Mhm.
That's
Our next meeting.
Next meeting, and then we'll notify the challenged voters and of course the challenger so that they can come present if needed with our standard letter.
So next agenda item, next meeting.
The next meeting is January 6th at 3:30 here in the boardroom. And again, I'm going to take just a moment to wish everybody
Right.
the most wonderful of holiday seasons. Enjoy your family, your time, season, and most of all, take a break. And we will hit the ground running in January for a big election year.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Director.
Same to you,
Beth,
Glenda.
Thank you. My birthday card.
Coming up.
All right, all right.
So hearing no further
Birthdays.
business, if I could have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.